Louis, when you look at it from the other way around, the team where he might end up, would you trade for Tony Romo?
Boy, that's a tough one when you're looking at a 36-year-old quarterback with multiple clavicle injuries, a back issue, and right now you just don't know. I mean, how far can you project out what his future performance would be like? How many years? What do you have in the wings? What do you have coming up in the pipeline as far as what is your young alternative? I guess if you thought you were close enough, and every team thinks that they're close enough, quite honestly. Sometimes they're kidding themselves, obviously. But I guess if you thought you were close enough and you really just needed the quarterback to really solidify the rest of the roster and you had enough weaponry around him and you had enough protection for him, yeah, maybe you do. I don't know. If I'm the Jets, I don't know if I do that if I'm the Jets. I don't know if I do that if I'm the Bears either, quite honestly. But somebody will, because the supply and demand equation is so out of whack at that position.
Yeah. Two of the more recent examples are Brett Favre got traded to the Jets. He took him to the championship. Carson Palmer got traded to Arizona. Both old quarterbacks, both banged up, not to the extent of Romo. Both changed those franchises overnight.
The only difference, obviously, the difference with Favre is, Favre had a long run, a very, very, very long run of being durable.
Sure he did.
It's an interesting situation. It really is, because I'll be interested to see what the value is and what kind of compensation people are willing to part with in order to acquire.
What do you think? My guess, just a guess, off the top of my head, a conditional fifth that goes to a 4 if they make the playoffs. What do you think?
I think that's very fair. I think I would classify it as fair. It might be a little low, but it's very fair.
I think if you were the acquiring team, you'd be very happy. If you could get him for that, quite honestly.
I would think so.
I really do. Especially, again, because of the supply and demand equation.
I think the biggest decision in the entire National Football League this offseason is what the Cowboys do with Tony Romo. As we said, it's pretty convincing and clear that Dak Prescott's their quarterback. They can't even convince Tony Romo that they'll, allow him to return on his $20 million remaining contract and have an open competition. That would be unfair to Dak Prescott given what he's just accomplished. And so, are the Cowboys willing to trade Tony Romo? Is there another team that would want him? He's going to be 37 years old. The last 2 times he got hit in an NFL game, he suffered a fracture that led to a really extensive period in which he couldn't play football. He's barely played in the last year and a half. They could certainly release him. It's still going to cost the Cowboys $19.6 million if they release him or if he retires. So those are going to be difficult decisions for the Cowboys. Jerry Jones wouldn't give a time frame. He wouldn't even say what he views the options to be. But my sense is, given the relationship between the two, Jerry's going to do whatever Tony Romo wants him to do, given the way Tony's handled being the backup quarterback ever since he got healthy to Dak Prescott. So it'll be interesting to see what level of interest there might be from other teams around the NFL. There aren't enough good quarterbacks to go around. What's the perception of how much Tony Romo has left? And I guess part of it is, too, Randy, does Tony Romo want to continue playing? You talk to people close to him, they say, he really feels as good as he's felt in 2 years. Does he want to put that all at risk again? I certainly think if you're any kind of competitor, and I think that's what really defines Tony Romo, then you don't accept staying in Dallas as a backup and take a major pay cut to facilitate that.